Welcome back, guys. Today we'll be looking at chess objectives. Now, chess, like we've said, is usually played between or among two players. Okay, one with the black pieces and one with the white pieces. And they are both fighting or struggling to checkmate one another. Now, what is checkmate? Okay, what is checkmate? Checkmate is the art of attacking the king in such a way that it cannot escape. Okay, attacking the king in such a way that it cannot escape is known as checkmate in chess. There is nobody to help it and it cannot escape. So if you attack the king and there's no one to help it and it cannot escape or it cannot capture you, then you have checkmated the opponent's piece. Now, while trying to achieve checkmate, we could stumble upon what we know as stalemates. We could stumble upon what we know as stalemates, or we can even make blunders. Okay? Or we can even make blunders. So let me show you, let me clear the board, or let me show you a classical example of checkmate, or it's a simple checkmate that we experience when playing chess. Okay, let me show you a simple checkmate we experience when playing chess. Now, this is known as the scholar's mate. It is white's turn to move, and white decides to attack this pawn with his queen, delivering what we know as checkmate. This is checkmate. Why is this checkmate? Because the king cannot capture this white queen, and there is nobody here to attack white queen. So black is said to be checkmated by white. Okay, now why can't the king capture this queen? The reason is simple and quite obvious. There is a bishop protecting this queen from being captured. Okay, so this is known as checkmate. Also, we can, to make it easier, let me clear the board, okay, and show you easy checkmates, easy ways for you to identify checkmates. Okay, now I will set this up and so white is to make the next move, right? White is to make the next move from this position, and white decides to play his queen down to h7. With white playing his queen down to h7, will you consider this a checkmate? Yes, this is known to be a checkmate because there is no escape square for this king. Its own rook is blocking it from moving away from check. And apart from that, it cannot capture the queen that is attacking it because there is a bishop supporting this queen. So because it cannot capture it, can it move to the only square that is available, which is h8? The answer is still no, because the queen is also attacking this square. This means that black king has been checkmated. Let's consider this position. Okay, first of all, let me make it easier to understand. Let's start from here. Let's consider this position. White is to make the next move, and then white decides to play his rook to c1. White decided to move his rook to c1, thereby attacking black's king, right? You can see that there's no one here, so he's attacking black's king. Now, three things could happen here. One, black would decide to eliminate the attacking piece, which is the rook, using his bishop, right? Or black could decide to bring his rook down here to protect his king. Then the last thing that could happen is the black king can decide to come to this empty square on h2 and evade the check. Okay, now normally the best move would be to capture the attacking piece. This will be considered the best move. Okay, but black could also decide to, you know what, let me come down to prevent check, and even if the white rook should decide to capture it, okay, if the white rook should decide to capture it, it can capture back. So at this point, that move is not considered to be called checkmate. Okay, it is not considered to be called checkmate. So now, like I said, checkmate only occurs when the black or the piece, that the king that is being attacked, either for white or black, cannot escape. One, that means number one, it cannot escape. Number two, it does not have anybody that can protect it. Okay, it does not have anybody that can protect it. The example we gave before, where the black king was on h1 and the black rook was on g2 and the white rook was on c1, you will see that the black king had a bishop to protect it by capturing the white rook. It also had a rook to protect it by blockading the attacking piece, which is the white rook. It also have an opportunity to escape to h2. So by so doing, although black is in check, it is relatively safe. Now let us consider this other position. So from here, white is to make a move, or the next move, and white decides to bring his queen all the way down to g4. So let's bring the queen down to g4. What is this? This is known as checkmate. But why? This is because the white queen is attacking the black king and there is no one to defend it. So if you check, you see that there is no black piece on the whole board that can come to its rescue. That's number one. Another thing is that it cannot capture the queen. Why can't it capture the queen? Because the queen has a reinforcement from its rook. So if there is a reinforcement on the attacking piece on the king cannot capture the attacking piece. So the fact that there's a rook here means that black has been checkmated. This square is covered by the queen and h3 is also covered by the queen, meaning that black can neither move to h3 or h5. It can neither move to g5 or g3 as well. The only place it could have gone to, which was g4 to capture the queen, is also being blockaded by the rook. So the rook is also reinforcing attack on the queen, meaning that the black king cannot capture it and it has surrendered. Good. Now let's take another example. So this is another common position we see every day in chess. So as a beginner, you will meet this position. There are high chances you will meet this position, so you have to pay attention. It is white's turn to move, and white decides to play rook to e8, right? White decides to move his rook down to e8, right? Checking the black king. What do you think will happen here? Is this checkmate? The answer is no. Why is this not checkmate? Because the black king can easily capture the white rook. Okay? Why can the black king capture the white rook? This is the only move, in fact this is a forcing move that the black king can make. The black king can capture this white rook because there is no reinforcement. There's nobody, there's no other white piece anywhere that is giving it the moral support. Oh yeah, go to attack. And he decided to attack. And not just attack, it attacked the white king in a square that it can be captured. So this is considered to be a blunder. Why is this considered to be a blunder? Because white will be losing its rook from here. So the rook is gone. So this is considered to be a blunder. So be very careful. While trying to deliver checkmate, ensure you do not make a blunder. Ensure there is a piece that is supporting the attacking piece that you want to use for checkmate, or at least there is nobody that can capture it in any square it lands, especially the king, that the king cannot reach it. If the king cannot reach it and there's nobody that can capture it, then you have a clear path to checkmate. Now let's consider this other position. This position is slightly different from the first position. Okay, this position is slightly different from the first position in the sense that it is white's turn to move, and white decides to make the move it made the first time. Check. Okay, white decides to check the black king. Now, can the black king escape? The answer is obviously no, because there is no square for it to run to. It cannot come here. Okay, it is under attack by the rook, and it cannot come here because it's under attack by the rook. Now the squares that it could have escaped from are being blockaded by its own pawns. Okay, the squares are being blockaded by its own pawns. So black cannot escape, and as such is said to have been checkmated. Good. So if you're observant, you would have noticed that the difference between this position and the previous position was that in the previous position, because the king was on f8, it could capture the rook, right? It was just a square away from the rook. It could capture the rook. But now that the king is on g8 and 2 squares away from the rook, it cannot capture the rook because it needs to make 2 moves to get to the rook. So because of this, it is called checkmate. Now let's look at this. Let's consider this other position as well. So let's consider this position as well. It is black's turn to make a move, and black decided to play his queen to b5. So let's bring the queen to b5. Now, is this considered a checkmate, given that the white king cannot move to a6, it cannot move to a4, it can also not move to b4, and neither can it move to b6. So, is this considered a checkmate? The answer is no, because the white king has only one place to go to, and that is to b5 to capture the black queen. Now, why can it capture the black queen? If you look around the squares, you notice that although black has pieces on the chessboard, none of them are serving as reinforcement for this queen. Because there's no reinforcement for the queen that is going to attack the king can easily capture the queen. Therefore, that is not a checkmate. Instead, that will be considered to be a blunder because white has lost his piece. But now let's consider this. What if there is a bishop on e8? What if there is a bishop on e8? Will this still be considered to be a blunder? No. Now, this is officially a checkmate because the white king cannot capture the queen anymore since there is a reinforcement for the queen, which is the bishop on e8. The bishop on e8 is serving as a reinforcement for the queen. Okay, so it is serving as a reinforcement for this queen. So the white king cannot capture it. Now, can the white king come to b6, a6, a4, or b4? The answer is no as well. So because there is no escape square and there is nobody to help with capturing it, this is considered to be a checkmate. Now, if in the same vein we bring a white rook and place it on b1, then we replay the same move. That is, sorry, we replay the same move, that is, we attack the white king with the black queen. We attack the white king on a5 with the black queen. Is this also a checkmate? The answer is obviously no. Why is this not a checkmate? Because the white rook will obviously capture this queen, and then even when the the bishop recaptures, the king can now capture. So that will not be considered to be a checkmate. Now let's look at stalemate. What is stalemate? Stalemate is a position whereby the opposing king does not have any legal move, or the opposing player rather, let's use player not king. The opposing player does not have any legal move to make on the board. Okay? If the opposing player does not have any legal move to make on the board, then it is considered to be stalemate. So for either players, if you cannot move any of your piece, then it is considered to be a stalemate, and that is a draw. Okay, that means there is no winner for that particular match. So that means draws can happen in chess as well. Let's look at this classical example of a stalemate. Observe this move very well. It is white's turn to move, and white decides to move his queen to g3. If white decides to bring his queen to g3, does black have any legal move to make? The answer is no. If you click on black, you see that there is no square that is highlighted. Black king can neither come here, here, nor here. So since black king cannot move, and the black pawn is being blockaded by white pawn, which means the black pawn can also not move, this position is known as stalemate, because black has no legal move to make. So to better understand stalemate, you have to play more games. Okay, so just know that when it is a player's turn to make a move, and there is no move that can be made on the board, if there is no legal move that can be made on the board, then it is considered to be a stalemate. So we have discussed checkmates, we have discussed stalemates, and we have discussed blunders. Now I will give you people two quick exercises to try to solve, to see if it is a checkmate or it is a blunder. Okay, you can type your answer in the comment section below. So this is the first position. It is white's turn. Sorry, my phone is ringing. I'm back. So it is white's turn to move. Okay, and white decides to play queen to b7. Okay, now please, in the comment section, consider whether this position is a checkmate, a stalemate, or a blunder. Okay, a checkmate, a stalemate, or a blunder. Write your answers down in the comment section. This is question 1. So for question 2, okay, for question 2, we are going to use a game that was played between Fischer and Teres. So I will upload that now. So this particular game was played between Fischer, okay, considered to be one of the greatest chess players of all time, and Teres in a tournament in 1959, I believe. So this particular game was played between them, and Fischer, it was Fischer's turn to move. Fischer with the black pieces. Teres was in fact, he was one of the top players, very top players during his time, and he was very much feared. So from this position, Fischer played queen to e5. Okay, from this position, Fischer played queen to e5. Now, I want you to answer in the comment section. Is there an escape square for the king, or can someone capture this queen? Or, in fact, just answer simply. This is the second question, so you can just write number 2. Is this a checkmate on black's white, or is it a blunder? So just answer number 2, checkmate or blunder. Okay, quickly, checkmate or blunder. Um, Someone said I should make it 5 questions, so let me just quickly push to 5 questions. Okay, I've asked 2. Let me set up extra 3. So this is number 3. Okay, from everything I've said, it is white's turn to move, and white decides to play queen to f6. Okay, white decides to play queen to f6. So please answer, is this a checkmate, a stalemate, or a blunder? You can answer in the comment section. This is the third setup. Is it a checkmate, a stalemate, or a blunder? Okay. So quickly, number 4, please confirm. Okay. Okay, let's show you where the move started from. It's white's turn to move, and white decides to make this move, playing e8. Okay, rook to e8. Now, please help me confirm. Okay, is this a checkmate, a stalemate, or a blunder? Help me confirm, is this a checkmate, a stalemate, or a blunder? Okay, I need your answer in the comment section. Then, lastly, for question number 5, we have this situation. Okay, we have this situation, and the rook again moved all the way from e1 down to e8. Please confirm. If you can see that the king is under attack. This is question number 5. Confirm. Is this a checkmate, a stalemate, or a blunder? Okay, checkmate, a stalemate, or a blunder? Can the rook be captured, or is it a checkmate for the king, or there is no legal move for black to make? So thank you very much for going through this section with me. It's like I said, this whole tutorial session on chess is based on Bobby Fischer's book. It's based on the book. I have finished it, and I just want to discuss it with friends and family to see how I can help improve your chess as well. So thank you very much.